All right, we are back with a fresh edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. I was off on Friday and over the weekend, and boy, what a day I missed on Friday. I was just talking with our 11 p.m. Producer, and she was telling me about how her evening went on Friday. It didn't go well. The storms that brought 3 to 4 inches of rain to parts of Boardman and Poland really caused a lot of problems, of course, and those problems are ongoing in some parts of the region as we slip into a new week. And we had some storms out there earlier on today. I want to show you a picture that was sent in to us from Amanda. This is from Jackson Center over in Mercer County. Some pretty decent-sized hail here. This storm prompted a severe thunderstorm warning for a time middle of the afternoon. That was around 3:10, 3:15, I think. And these storms have tried to produce some hail off and on throughout the day. Now, your eye is definitely drawn when that loop comes back around to the storm that dropped that hail in Mercer County. Otherwise, hail's been pretty minor, pea-size in some spots, but that was significantly more than pea-size hail over in central and east central parts of Mercer County. Now, when I recorded this video at 7:23, we still had one straggler out there this evening. The storm has been pushing through Mahoning County, impacting the Austintown area, Ellsworth as well, Berlin Center, getting hefty downpour, some lightning, some thunder. I've seen some shelf cloud pictures from this. This is really the the Lone Ranger as of 7:24 this evening. Otherwise, things are quieting down in a hurry. Cool time lapse today. This is from our Youngstown camera pointing north-northwest. Of course, the skyline and YSU campus in the sort of in the foreground there, and then the clouds bubble up, and then we had some downpours. This was the cell that dropped the hail around Liberty and Girard for a time and brought us a quick downpour in and around downtown Youngstown early this afternoon, right when I was coming into work, actually, before 2 p.m. We were getting a downpour. Now, the rain that we had at the end of last week on Friday pushed our 7-day totals, of course, way higher in southeastern Mahoning County, from Boardman to Poland and Struthers, Louisville. And then over the last 7 days, it's actually been a little drier than average north of Interstate 80. So, that's the way it goes in the summertime. Some places just get tons of rain and some places do not. Here at the station Friday evening, we have a rain gauge up on the roof that I maintain, and we registered 0.19. That's it. In just, by a handful of miles to the south as the crow flies, 3-4 inches of rain was pretty common. And again, that's kind of an extreme case, but that's sometimes the way it goes at this time of the year. All right, upper level low pressure system, easy to find on the water vapor loop today. And this is kind of an unusual setup. We've seen a few of these across the country this summer. Upper level lows are a little more common in the cold weather season or even in the transitional seasons, not really in the middle of summer, but we've had a few of these. And that's a pocket of cold air aloft, and once the sun starts heating the ground and the ground starts heating the air, those clouds bubble up, and it's easy to get some hail because of the cold air aloft. The freezing levels are lower than they typically are, especially in August, and so it's a little easier to get hail when you're right underneath an upper level low. Now, at this time of the year, the main branch of the jet stream is way up north, as it is this evening, and you get this cutoff south of the main jet, and it's hard to kick it along because there's not a jet stream pushing it along. The steering flow is very weak. So this thing tends to meander for sometimes days at a time, but finally it's just about to head out. It's finally going to slowly but surely head east, and we'll get into kind of a more typical summertime pattern for the rest of the week and into the weekend. It's kind of a zonal looking flow. That's going to prevent it from getting super hot this week. It's just going to be kind of gently warm by August standards, at or above average just about every day. Now, I'm expecting with that upper low pushing east tomorrow, for tomorrow to be a less active day than today in terms of thunderstorms. Now, could there be a pop-up cell or two, especially in the afternoon? It's possible, but it's a lower chance than today. I think the coverage will be quite a bit lower, and then we'll be kind of in between systems on Wednesday. This will be a warm day, probably a partly to mostly sunny day, and I've got a high of 86 in our forecast for Wednesday with moderately high dew points as well. And a muggy day coming up on Thursday. This approaching system will probably produce a few rounds of showers and thunderstorms Thursday afternoon into Thursday night. Now, that front will not really trudge through here until late Friday into the weekend, and so dew points are going to stay pretty high into the end of the work week. But then look what happens over the weekend. I like our odds of a pretty nice weekend right now. Of course, things can change. We're still only on Monday, but as it looks right now, the weekend should be a pretty nice summer weekend. 6 to 10 day outlook. Cool stretch for parts of the high plains into the middle of the country. What else is new? Hot in the west. For us, we'll probably end up somewhat above average during that 6 to 10 day stretch. In this stretch, the daily averages the daily numbers compared to average have been tilted much more by the overnight lows than the daytime highs. The daytime highs have been lower 80s, only a couple of degrees above average most of the time, but the overnight lows have been several degrees above the average overnight low, and that's what's keeping those daily averages where they are. So, you know, when you look at these maps, you got to keep in mind these don't just show departures from average for high temperatures. It's highs and lows combined. So sometimes we can be in a warm pattern, but it's not super hot during the day. It's those overnight lows that stay elevated that tilt the numbers. Now, the 6 to 10 day period is looking fairly active. So again, you know, despite the dry weather we had earlier on this summer, we're really in no danger of slipping into a legit drought here locally with this type of an active pattern. And some places have seen, again, quite a bit of rain lately. Some places not so much, but generally speaking, we're not in any sort of trouble as far as a late summer drought this time around. Thanks for checking out the Monday Night Weather for Weather Geeks. I'll have a full update on the radar and everything else you need to know tonight on 21 News at 11. And make sure on days like today especially, you have that Storm Tracker 21 app downloaded. You get push alerts, any warnings that come out. And of course, all of our videos like this one on the Storm Tracker 21 app.